So Offkai has done one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. Offkai has made a Fansly booth in the middle of the convention. So this thing says that it's 18 plus on it. And if you scan the QR code, you can actually, from what I understand, it's maybe not uncensored unless you're logged into Fansly. That's what I understand, but it's still pretty strange. But it's still really disgusting. I really don't know why anybody would think that this is such a good idea. I mean, just look at this thing in the middle of this place. And they have 18 plus booths. And no, this is not in the 18 plus booths. I was on Twitter, commenting on some things. And somebody actually commented back to me and gave me the floor plans of the convention. This is right next to, like, the gamer subs. Yeah, this is not 18 plus. So there's no way that these people are actually going to defend this with that. So it might be time to seek employment. Another thing about it is, like, this is just disgusting. Like, none of you people have a problem with children going into this and seeing this. And not to mention, even if they're not able to scan the QR code in the convention, they're going to be able to look at that, see the 18 plus only on it, be curious, go home and Google it. This has done nothing but make sure that they're going to find out what's on this site. It's completely ridiculous that this has been up here. Like, all of you people have nothing, like, none of you people have anything to say about this, and it's stupid. So, Offkai does need you to have so a minor does need to be accompanied by a parent, and that's why I'm saying, again, they can see this booth and become curious. I wouldn't be too surprised if they were able to, like, use a QR code still. And what's to say they're even enforcing this rule, of course. Now, that's maybe not the best point, because maybe they are. Maybe they are making sure children are at the con not being attended, but maybe they aren't. That's, of course, another thing that has to be said is, what if? Like, should they really be able to be around here when there's a booth that is inappropriate for them in the middle of the general section? Not 18 plus, not anything like that. This is just out in the open. Another problem that I have is that this is the most unnecessary thing I've ever seen on God's green earth. There was no point in putting a Fansly booth in a VTubing convention. This has nothing to do with VTubing. They could have just not done this, and it would have gone just as well as you think it would have. There was no point in putting this here. This is so unnecessary, and all it's done is cause this controversy. It's only caused people like me to get pissed off. It's caused a lot of people to be pissed off. The person who made this, because it definitely had to be a lot of people who decided that this was a good idea and made this, none of them are going to get, like, put on notice. None of them are going to get fired or something. They're going to make way more money than you do, get bonuses, and probably promotions. You people always say you care about, like, minimum wage workers and you, like, feel bad about them, but then when a company you like does something stupid and just shells out money to some retard, you people don't care. None of you care that this person it doesn't even matter how you feel about the booth being in there. It was a bad idea. It had nothing to do with VTubing, and all it's done is cause controversy. It is objectively a bad idea. And no one's gonna learn from this. No one's gonna be put on notice. No one's getting written up. If you worked at McDonald's and you did something half as stupid as this, you would have gotten written up. You would have maybe been fired. Like, that's just so stupid that you people always say you care about minimum wage workers and all that, and then somebody just comes around and does this and you couldn't care less. Even if you are completely fine with a Fansly booth being in the middle of it, by terms of just how stupid that is and how they shouldn't have done it, you should be angry at them for that, because it has been a bad idea. All it's done is cause controversy. Not to mention that these people on Twitter are just doing the Darvo. First, they were apparently defending it, saying the Fansly booth wasn't going to be in the general section, it would be an 18 plus. It isn't. The floor plan says so. They were also attacking the guy who, so first they were defending, then they were attacking the guy who said this. I saw somebody say that this guy said he wanted to assault somebody. Now, it might be a joke and it might not be. Either way, I don't think this is appropriate to really say, even if you're just kind of, because I don't imagine these people know each other. So even if he was like making some sort of joke, that might make the other guy, the guy who says he wants to punch, that might make him feel like that is a genuine threat. So that is pretty bad on him. But you people don't really care about how bad that looks. You're just trying to make him look bad. All you're doing is trying to make him look bad. All you're trying to do is make him look bad. There's nothing more to it than that. You're trying to attack his credibility by posting that, because you didn't care about it until he said something about Offkai. Strange how that works. And then, so I'm guessing the next one is reverse, so I guess the next part of Darva would be reverse victim and offender. So I guess they'd make it the minor's fault rather than everybody else's, people who organize this, people who go to this, they're gonna make it the minor's fault. Yeah, the children. Yeah, that'll work. Definitely their fault. I'm not really so certain how they're gonna do that. Maybe they're gonna say the minors just shouldn't be around it then. Or you shouldn't be taking your minors around it because you're supposed to be watching your children. That's not how that works. This shouldn't be in an age-restricted area, you know. Yeah, you should be watching your children at a public place with lots of people in it at all times. That's how that works, yes. You should not have to watch your children because I have my public porn booth, my monolith to porn in the middle of a public area. That's not how that works. That's not how that logic works. Yes, they're bad at parenting because they let their children go free, but no, it's not. But no, you're still at fault for having a goddamn booth you're still at fault for having a goddamn porn booth in the middle of a general area. In the middle of a public place that minors can be in. I think that about covers all I really wanted to talk about. But like, you people not caring about this, all of you who don't care about like children or anything, who don't care about the fact that these people just fell upwards when they do stupid shit like this. The companies who do stuff like this and get nothing but bad PR, you know, because that's really what it matters for in a company, is PR. That's how that works. And they've done no such thing, and you people are somehow fine with that. What they did was objectively wrong in terms of that. What they did was objectively wrong because they shouldn't have a porn booth in the general section, even if children are around. Like, all of you people who say nothing about this, like, you don't have to attend a con. It's a luxury. You could say, I'm not going to a con because you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing. You could always say that, but you won't. All of you are a disgrace. You're worthless. Absolutely worthless. You can't protect children. You can't do the bare minimum. That's the bare minimum of what you have to do, is protect children. You are an adult. Whether you like it or not, you are responsible. If you are an adult, you have the responsibility over children. It doesn't matter if you want it or not, you have it. If you don't like it, you shouldn't have grown up. And you can't help that, so I don't know what to tell you. And if you definitely didn't want that, you shouldn't have put yourself in this position. It's your responsibility. You will be judged on it whether you like it or not. That's how that goes. If you can't protect children and you're an adult, you need to go back to the drawing board of life because you have no idea what you're even doing. You are absolutely worthless if you can't do that. You are utterly useless if you can't do that. It reminds me of the Ace family. For those uninitiated, that's a family vlogging channel. So, basically, pure evil incarnate, as you will know it, just from those words. And the father of the family, I forget his name, he bought a little girl a penis-shaped lollipop, and people were really angry at him for it. Rightfully so. He's an adult and he could do anything to stop her. But people came to his defense and said, well, what else was he supposed to do? The girl wanted this lollipop. She could have just stolen it if he had, like, bought it for her. It's like, he's an adult. He could have done anything. He could have taken her out of that store had he wanted to. You know, he could have said, we aren't buying that. You're not stealing it. You know, we're going to leave. At least I think it was, yeah. You know, we could just leave. You know, you're going to leave. You know, I'm going to tell your parents. He could do anything. And he didn't, you know. Obviously not take her out by force, but, you know, just, you could just sit there and tell her you're not doing that, you're leaving. I'll tell your parents, I'll tell whoever, I'll tell the store owner, and they're going to call your parents, whatever. Or they're going to call somebody. And then you're going to have to explain to your parents. But he didn't. He just bought her it. He could do anything. What kind of problem-solving skills do you have if you can't, like, find out how to get out of that situation? If that's your solution is, oh, well, I guess I'll just have to buy this, you know, I'll just have to let this little girl do something that's inappropriate for her. What can I do? I'm a fully grown-ass man. I'll tell you what, you could do anything. You are an adult, you have the power over children. You can do something to help them, even if they can't help themselves. You have the responsibility, even if it's not your child. Why not? And the question is, it's not my child, why should I care? The question is, why not? Do you have something better to do with your life than to make sure children are doing something good, than to make sure they're doing something that they should be doing? Like, do you really have something better to do with your life? If so, you're not a good person. You're not a good person if you can't put aside something to help somebody who needs help. Like a child. The most vulnerable type of person in the world is a child. If you can't help a child, you're not a good Samaritan. You're not a good person. You can do as you wish, but do not claim that you're a good person when you can't help a child. You know, claim to be utterly worthless, claim that you are pawn scum and nothing more. That's what you should be doing. And that's who all of these people are, the people who made Offkai, all these VTubers, they're pawn scum. I've never seen anything more disgusting than that. Like, really, you are pawn scum. You had to do the bare minimum, which is help children, and you couldn't. You're an adult. What is the point of you if you can't do that? What is your grand purpose in life? What are you gonna do in life if you can't help children? Honestly. And not to mention, like, these people are, like, probably 30 or older, for fuck's sake. And they probably have children of their own, too, maybe. And they can't do anything to help children? What are you gonna do with your life? What are you gonna do? No wonder you're on Fansly. You can't do anything else. You're fucking worthless. The only thing you can do is get simps and parasocial fucks, parasocial freaks to care about you, to care that you even exist, and that's about it. Because nobody else would. Because anybody in their right mind wouldn't care that you exist.